Starting in 2010, the first official Minecon was held. With only 5,000 people in attendance, it was focused on the celebration of the game's initial release. Now, back then Minecraft looked much different than this, and actually looked like this. Over the last 13 years, Minecon has changed a lot, changed its name several different times to where it's currently now known as Minecraft Live, changed what it was initially celebrating several times as well. I'm your host, Chris, and welcome to Minecraft Files, the failure of Minecraft Live. Before we get exactly into how Minecraft Live failed, let's have a brief history of it. The first couple years of Minecon pretty much were the same. From 2010 to 2013, it would mostly just consist of panelists, and basically the first two also celebrated pretty much the release of the game. In 2014, they would skip a Minecon, and in 2015, they would have a lot more community input. In 2015, following a year-long break, Minecon would return. This Minecon would be listed as the peak of the OG Minecons. The reason for the year-long gap also was because Microsoft was acquiring Minecraft. Now, the reason people call this 2015 Minecon the peak of the OG Minecon was because they would bring multiple YouTubers from the community basically on stage to interact with the community, answer questions and things like that. For example, they had Stampy Longhead, they had iBallistic Squid, Dan TDM, they also had Achievement Hunters, and a couple other YouTubers. In 2016, they would also bring back the YouTuber panels and would more prominently feature Captain Sparkles. Now, this did lead to a little bit of cringeworthy moments, but luckily and sadly, they would move away from this format in 2017 into an interactive live stream. Now, the most remembered thing from this 2017 Minecon was, of course, the introduction of the mob vote, which, by the way, I've covered in a separate video, so make sure to go check that out. This Minecon also started the trend where Mojang would start announcing an update every single Minecon, starting with Update Aquatic. In 2018, with the name change, Minecon Earth would return and follow the trend of announcing a new update. The update announced, of course, being the Pillage and Village update. They, of course, would also announce pandas and a brand new game, Minecraft Dungeons. Now, this year they did skip the mob vote and decided to do a biome vote instead, which is where we saw the Taiga win. In 2019, we saw the return of the name Minecon Live. This would also bring in a wave of new excitement for Minecon Live. Of course, was because 1.16 was announced, which at the time was one of the biggest updates Minecraft had ever done. A complete overhaul of the Nether that introduced 4 biomes, a ton of new structures, and of course new mobs like the Strider, the Piglins, and basically changed the Nether and part of the late game forever, even introducing a new late stage of armor, Netherite. The very next year, Minecraft would come back with an even bigger heavy hitter, the Caves and Cliffs update being announced. A complete overhaul of the caves, cliffs, new biomes that take place underground, new biomes that take place at the peak of mountains, and a lot of other things. Sadly, this would be the peak of Minecraft Live, but would also mark its downfall. At the time, 1.17 was the biggest update ever announced by Mojang. It included a complete overhaul to caves and cliffs, a complete new world generation, and biomes underground, which is something we haven't seen up to this point. Sadly, though, it did get delayed, and what most people thought would just be a delayed update turned out to be an update not only delayed, but split into 2 parts, and several features not coming until the most recent update, 1.20. 1.17 mostly only saw the inclusion of new blocks like Deep Slate. It also saw the inclusion of amethyst crystals and things like that. 1.18 actually did include the new world generation, but it did miss out on a new biome. I believe this update would be missing things like the Deep Dark, pottery, archaeology, and things like that. And then 1.19 was announced the next year. This included the Deep Dark and the mangrove swamps. Compared to previous years, the update was definitely lacking a lot of features and a lot of excitement. Even though it still did get the community excited, there was a lot less excitement. We went from 2 back-to-back years of huge updates announced to having an update that most of it was meant for a previous update. Next year after that, we would get the Tells and Trell update, which didn't even get truly announced at Minecraft Live. And this is where the downfall really takes place. Some of you may be wondering why this started the end and the downfall of Minecraft Live. This is because the last few years leading up to this, Minecraft Live had mostly become a thing of the update was announced, piquing the hype of all players. There was a few extra panels spread in there, maybe some promotional stuff for other games and stuff, but the main content that got players excited was the announcement of the next update Even though it would be like 8 months out, people would get excited about knowing that stuff was coming in snapshots and stuff leading up to that point, to where in Minecraft Live 2022, we only got a little bit announced. Because we wouldn't even get the title announcement of the update until nearly 5 months later on March 2nd of 2023 when they finally announced that the update would be called Tells and Trails. This was months after Minecraft Live. The only thing that somewhat redeemed Minecraft Live 2023 was the mob vote. It was very controversial still, but following the previous years, it didn't divide the community as much. Once again, if you want to hear more about the mob vote, I have a separate video on it. And that brings us to this year's Minecraft Live 2023. This took place on October 15th and was definitely the worst of them all. From the get-go, Minecraft Live 2023 already had an off-putting vibe. As you were watching the show, it would go on and you would already sense the fact that most of it was of course pre-recorded, which some parts have to be, but a lot of parts didn't seem like they needed to be pre-recorded, but they were. And the parts that weren't pre-recorded seemed like they were pre-recorded. Even the mob vote seemed pre-recorded. Most of this pre-recorded stuff was actually just ads. And I'm not talking about ads that traveling salesman Steve back here is making. I'm talking about ads that would normally be released throughout the year, basically hyping up some kind of collab that would come in the coming weeks, in the coming months, something like that. But we had collabs that were coming out next year announced at this Minecraft Live, and that's what most of the show was, to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, we did get some cool features announced. We got the Trials Chamber announced, and we did get the Crafter announced, which currently a lot of people are freaking out over. But personally, where's the end update, Mojang? Where is it? Okay. And like the previous year, we didn't even get the name of the update. We did, however, get a little bit more of an idea what the update was going to be, because they did mention it was going to be a lot more challenging, and it was going to focus also on the tinkering side of things, which I will give them is more than what we got in 2022. A lot of things people didn't notice too is this one was a lot shorter than previous years. This one was less than an hour long, and for the most part, it felt like it just had filler. Like I said, it had a ton of ads, and the storyline that started in the mob vote with basically them getting lost on their way to Minecraft Live continued throughout the show for the most part, which did give us funny things like this, which is on the thumbnail you clicked on, but it also gave us some weird things that we didn't necessarily need. Now, I do understand Minecraft is a kid's game for the most part, but Mojang seemingly ignored its somewhat older audience for the most part during this Minecraft Live and made it over the top cringy to them, to say the least, and way too childish, like even more childish than a 3-year-old would expect. And don't get me wrong, Jeb building a portal was perfect. That was actually amazing. That was like the perfect hint of what the joke should have been. The whole waterfall thing, though, didn't really seem like it fit in the live show, and neither did the fact that they were going in and out of the game. Now, this did seem, I will be honest, like a really cool idea for the live show, but it didn't seem like they executed it perfectly. And it doesn't really help the fact that the show didn't lead up to anything, really. After the update was somewhat announced with the trial chambers and a lot of decorative blocks, it led up to a performance of Alec Benjamin performing a somewhat parody song. When I was watching it live, I realized at the start it was a parody song, but as it went on, it just turned into his normal song. And it was kind of just a weird, awkward moment to have the developers surrounding Alec Benjamin in Minecraft as he played a song. I don't even know how to talk about that. This Minecraft Live also failed to truly acknowledge the community. Leading up to Minecraft Live and during the entire live stream, the community was saying stop the mob vote. The only time this somewhat stopped was during the update being revealed itself. And that was because people were talking about how cool this new Trials Chambers was going to be and how cool mobs like the Breeze was going to be, which to me personally was the highlight of the thing. Because my concern with this Minecraft Live is the same concern I got when 1.20 came out. Archaeology may be a cool feature, but for the most part, people don't use it constantly. It's going to become a very specific use kind of thing, to where it seems like the trial chambers and the crafter are going to be the same way. I feel like the crafter is, however, a more expendable item Even though it has one use of just auto crafting, I feel like it's going to definitely get used a lot more. However, though, I have seen a lot of people express a lot of concern over the Trials Chambers, whether it's going to be something that is found all over the world, something that's found really rarely, and what's its replay value going to be? Like, honestly, after you clear it once, are you going to want to keep going over it again and again? Or are you just going to go in there, steal all the copper, complete it once, and then leave, and never see it again? And that's the main concern that a lot of people are talking about, to where in previous years, when 1.13, 1.14, even 1.15, 16 and 17 were announced, there was a lot of replay value. And as the updates kept going on and on, they're getting more specific, and they're lessening what's being revealed at Minecraft Live themselves. They're making less long-term exciting features, and when they are announcing the features, they're not super exciting. Now, one of the most exciting thing is that these features did get snapshots what felt like less than a week after Minecraft Live. I know it wasn't less than a week, but that's how it felt to a lot of people, how fast we were getting to play with these features. But a lot of people are still expressing the fact that long term, these features may not really matter, besides, of course, the autocrafter. So with that being said, Minecraft Live 2023 has failed on multiple fronts, getting the community completely excited for another update, something like 1.21, which after the last couple years, we should feel like we're getting a massive new update, especially for 15 years of a game. Is the Trial Chambers cool? Yes. Is it getting the community as excited as something like the Nether update or the Caves and Cliffs update would? No. I feel like the better bet would have had to gone with an overhaul of the end, something to expand the end game instead of adding something you can do before you even go and beat the Ender Dragon and roll the credits. Minecraft Live also failed in the fact that most of it felt like an advertisement instead of the community. Minecraft Live also failed to acknowledge the community and its concerns over the mob votes, and Mojang really didn't say much about it, something that was widely looked at by the community and talked about by the community, and petitions were signed. They failed on multiple fronts. They failed to capture any kind of originality. They had multiple themes that they failed to kind of convey during the live stream, including going in and out of the game, which, like I said before, was a cool concept, but they seemingly failed at that. They also failed at making a live show, because most of it was pre-recorded in September. Anyways, I'm gonna jump down this hole. Please subscribe for more. Remember, if you did like this episode of Minecraft Files, to please like and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. We've been doing so well in the last couple episodes, and we're already scheduled for a season 2, and it's going to start a lot earlier. So if you're enjoying Minecraft Files, remember to check back every Saturday when we upload a new one, and I will see y'all later.